Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael in for Fran Stoddard. It is the first Thursday of the month, which means it is recipe time. And because it's April, we're welcoming spring's warmer weather and the arrival of Easter in another 9 days. Chef Marco is already shopping for eggs and ham and even planning his Easter leftovers. Let's join Marco for this month's recipes in the kitchen.
Hi, I'm Marco Ayala, and I'm here to share another recipe with all of you. Spring is here. It's getting warm outside, the daffodils are coming out, and depending on where you are, if you're in southern Vermont, then they're probably already out and blooming. Over here in northern Vermont, they're almost ready to bloom, and probably in Canada, they're still halfway there. Those signs of springs are slowly coming in, but surely we're gonna get there. And another sign of spring is Easter. And Easter is a great time to cook because there's so many great recipes out there. So this year I decided to take my inspiration from something that is very popular during Easter, which is Easter eggs. And no, I'm not gonna make a recipe with a plastic egg. So let's put this back here in our basket and let me show you the appetizer for today's menu, which is smoked salmon deviled eggs. And this is a great take on your typical deviled egg. It's a little different, it's very citrusy. It has the smoked salmon, which is great for you. It's a great source of protein and fatty acids, fatty omega acids that are really good for you. And like I said, I thought it will be something really different that you probably will like to try. So let me tell you how to put this together. First, in a pan filled with cold water, place 6 large eggs. Bring the water to a boil and simmer for 10 minutes. And you're probably noticing right off the bat that there were only 3 eggs in that pan. And there's a reason for that. I have a very small household, and as you know, some of you can relate, you probably also have a household with just 1 or 2 persons. So this is a good example of a recipe that you can cut in half, so you don't have too many leftovers. And even though it's great to make a big recipe so you can share with others or bring it to your neighbors, but if it's something that you're just making for yourself, maybe you don't want to have too much. So in this case, I use 3 eggs, which yields 6 deviled eggs and is perfect for my household. After the eggs are cooked, you're gonna remove them from the hot water and you're gonna transfer them into a bowl filled with water and ice. Then you're gonna peel the eggs, slice them in half, and remove the egg yolks and place them in a small bowl. And everybody knows that the secret to a great deviled egg is in the filling. And in this case, we're gonna make it very citrusy, but we're also going to add a little cream cheese to complement our smoked salmon. To the egg yolks, you're gonna add 3 tablespoons cream cheese, 3 tablespoons mayonnaise, half a teaspoon Dijon mustard, the zest of 1 lemon, and 1 teaspoon lemon juice. Add a little pinch of dried dill, and 1/4 teaspoon salt. And you can blend it together with a hand blender until smooth, or using a fork like I did. Once it's smooth, transfer it to a piping bag. Cut the corner. You don't really need a nozzle. In this case, I use a large rosette tip in order to decorate them. And in this case, I'm making all the mistakes so you don't have to. So use a tip only if you're using a hand mixer, because otherwise there's little bits of the cream cheese or the egg yolk that are still there, so they don't go through the rosette and it just doesn't really come out completely decorated. So I learned that the hard way. Don't make the same mistake. Then you're gonna take 4 ounces smoked salmon and you're gonna cut it into strips. Then very carefully roll it up so it resembles a rose. Place it on top of your deviled eggs and sprinkle with chives and pepper. And I had a lot of fun making this recipe, and I'm going to add right now the chives just to make it look a little prettier. But trust me, you don't need to decorate these too much because they're so good, they're going to disappear immediately because people are going to love them. And I really hope you try them. Whether you make a full batch or a half batch, they're going to be a total success. And I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to Sarah Quinton from Colchester, Vermont, who tagged me in a Facebook post on St. Patrick's Day because she made the potato soup and the pork pies that we featured on Across the Fence last month. And look at her results. Doesn't that look delicious? And talk about you putting your own spin on a recipe, because instead of baking it, she put it in the air fryer and she says that they came out great. So thank you, Sarah. And I encourage everyone out there to show us the recipes that you're making. We love knowing what's happening in your kitchen. So now let's move on to our next recipe, which is something that I thought would be great for using your leftover ham, which is normally what most households have for Easter. These are ham and potato cakes with pesto. And they're so easy to make, they're delicious, and it's a great way to use those leftovers. So let me tell you how to put them together. First, you're gonna peel and chop 2 pounds potatoes. Cut them into medium pieces and transfer them to a saucepan. And my secret to fluffy mashed potatoes is to rinse the potatoes first a couple times to remove all the extra starch. And this guarantees that you're gonna have potatoes that are really fluffy. Add a little bit of salt, and then you're gonna cook them over medium-high heat for 10 to 12 minutes or until tender. Once your potatoes are cooked, you're gonna drain them and transfer them to a bowl. And then, with a fork or a potato masher, you're gonna roughly mash them until there's no big lumps. Then, 2 tablespoons chopped chives, 1 lightly beaten egg, add 1 tablespoon mustard, and half a pound leftover ham, roughly torn or chopped. And now that our mixer is ready, we're gonna turn it into patties. And the most important step here is that you want to have damp hands, because that moisture is gonna prevent the potato from sticking to your hands, because otherwise it becomes very sticky and very hard to make them into patties. Form the potato mixture into 18 even patties. Lightly dust them with flour on both sides. Then add oil to a fry pan and place it over medium heat. In batches, cook the potato cakes for 2 minutes on each side or until golden and warm through. Remove with a slotted spoon and drain them on paper towels or a rack. And it is just that easy to make your potato cakes. And for the pesto, you have 2 options here. You can either make your own pesto if you have a great recipe that you like, or you can use store-bought like I did, and you serve it with a nice salad, and that is a wonderful meal that I'm sure everyone in your family is really going to enjoy. Now that we have that all covered, it's time for dessert. And you know what? The other thing that I really like about this time of the year, that is warm during the day and cold during the night. And you know what that means, right? Maple syrup. And that's how I came up with the idea to make pudding Chamil. And I'm probably mispronouncing this. This is a recipe that is typical from Quebec. It kind of became a staple from the Quebec area. So let me tell you how to put it together. First, you're gonna grease the sides of large muffin pans or small ramekins. Then, for the caramel syrup, in a small saucepan, you're gonna add 3 tablespoons unsalted butter, 1 cup brown sugar, and 1 cup maple syrup. You're gonna warm it over medium heat, stirring until the sugar dissolves. Bring it to a boil, remove it from the heat, and add 1 teaspoon vanilla. And while your caramel syrup is cooling down a little bit, we're gonna be working on the pudding part. And in this case, really more than a pudding itself, it's more like a cake. So let me tell you how to put it together. To a large bowl, you're gonna add 1.5 cups flour, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1 cup sugar, 2 eggs, and 3/4 cup milk. 1 stick butter, soften. Then, with an electric mixer, beat it until it's well combined and it forms a smooth batter. Then, To the greased muffin pan, you're going to add 2 tablespoons caramel syrup into each of the molds. Then divide the batter evenly between all of the molds and bake it for 25 minutes at 350 degrees. Then you're going to decorate them with pecans like I did. And remember that leftover caramel sauce that we had from before? Well, it's a good thing that you saved it, because we're going to use it to drizzle it over our pudding cakes before serving. And also remember that it's very important that you get your maple locally. Here in Vermont, as you all know, if you get your maple locally, they always have a little tag on the side that has the name and the farm that your maple came from. You're supporting your local economy. So get your maple locally and use it in cooking, because that is the flavor of Vermont. And I really hope you give all these recipes a try. They're really good, and like I said, they're easy to make, and I'm pretty sure that you're really going to enjoy them during this month of April. And remember to follow Across the Fence on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the latest updates of Across the Fence right on your phone or your computer. And I hope that you also try these recipes. Let us know how you like them. And from my kitchen to your kitchen, have a happy Easter and enjoy your food.
Thanks for the preview of Easter, Marco. Nicely done, as always. That is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.